Your son, James. He's a good kid?
He's a good kid? A good kid? Why? Does he help the fucking poor? No. He sits on his ass all day, smoking dope and jerking off while he plays that fucking game.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is a masterpiece, maintaining relevance in our collection of games 7 years after its release. With a captivating story, engaging sandbox and eye-opening world, GTA 5 has cemented itself as one of the all-time greats. Of course, it has been 7 years, and we are due a sequel, a game that will somehow improve on its predecessor and bring Grand Theft Auto into the next generation. We trust Rockstar to do that, their track record is sublime. But in this video I'll be taking a detailed look at some of the big and small changes we could make for GTA 6. So grab yourself some popcorn because this is going to be a long one.
Knock, knock, niggas.
Hello,
What's up,
Lamar.
What's up, homie? What's up, then, homie? What's up, dog?
Franklin here has been awarded Employee of the Month.
You fucking with me, right?
Crafting a Grand Theft Auto game is not something to be taken lightly, and crucial creative decisions have to be made by the developers. Sure, we all have our opinions on where GTA 6 should be set or how many playable characters we should have, but ultimately Rockstar knows best here, and this brings me on to my first point, the aspects of GTA 6 that I don't want to talk about. We'll title this the Leave It to Rockstar section. The following are topics I will not discuss because I don't have the creative confidence to do so. Story, characters, and setting. I will, however, be discussing everything else I can, so let's get started.
Franklin!
What the fuck? I mean, what the hell going on here?
Wait a minute. Franklin, what are you doing here?
I live here. This half my house, too.
So you say? Anyway, Magenta is reinvigorating my femininity. So make yourself scarce. Boy, go. Go.
With pleasure.
Go.
The setting of GTA 6 will decide so much for the game, and point it in a direction that cannot be altered. It's a huge decision, and not one I want to get involved in. Rockstar painstakingly researched their locations in order to grasp the culture, environment, and people of the area, so they can realistically implement it in-game. They'll build the world, but I can't talk about the size of the world. Let's be honest, it should be bigger. How much bigger? I would say minimum 1.5 times the size of GTA 5. This may still seem small to some people, but you have to remind yourself that we're still utilising Los Santos to this day. I mean, look at this dirt road. I was driving near here one day and realised, damn, I've never driven on that road before. Detail is more important than size, but I understand, size is still important. There is something here that I would adore if Rockstar implemented into GTA 6, and that is seasons. Anyone who has played Forza Horizon 4 knows what I'm talking about here. Every week the season changes, and in doing so, the world around you is completely different. GTA 6 could introduce something similar. If the story takes place over a year or multiple years, the season could change every so often, giving the world a new sense of realism and originality. And maybe online could do the same, but change every few weeks or even in conjunction with the real life seasons. We already get snow during Christmas, so why not change the weather the whole year round? The weather is already fantastic in GTA 5, but depending on the location, we could introduce more extreme weather and hopefully photorealistic skyboxes. We need more flora and fauna too, and this would tie in with activities which I'll talk about later. There are features, however, that would ideally be included into the map that would enhance the gameplay. A typical example is an airport. A GTA game without an airport is a foreign concept, but in my opinion we also need things like long highways, mountain roads, a large body of water, plenty of off-road trails, tight city streets, at least one beach, maybe a military base, plenty of geographic diversity, etc.
So what's going on here?
What's going on is the big one. A long, long time ago in a faraway place, there were 3 guys. Michael, Trevor, and Lester.
And Brad.
Yeah, sure, Brad was there sometimes as well. I mean, there were other guys though, too. So, Anyway, we robbed and lied and we hurt people. Pretty much lived a low-life kind of existence. But always dreaming of one thing and one thing only.
The big one.
The big one.
The big one!
It's no secret that Rockstar are masters at crafting an open world, but their gameplay has never quite reached the same heights. Nakey Jakey made a video on this, so I highly recommend you check that out, but to summarise, Rockstar uses systemic gameplay mechanics in its open world, but then restricts the player to linear gameplay when performing missions. Effectively, Rockstar needs to give the player more freedom during these story missions, granting the player the same liberties that they'd have in the open world. Anyway, let's talk about the police, a crucial aspect of any GTA game. They're fine in 5, but we can certainly make them better. I should not get police if I kill someone in the middle of nowhere. The police should not arrest me if I stand in front of them. Police will be unaware of your whereabouts if you switch vehicles without them noticing. This also ties in with changing your outfit too. And lastly, can we bring back the hilarious ragdoll physics from GTA 4? And let me watch my character die instead of cutting to a wasted graphic. They're too good to not watch in full. The AI civilians in GTA 5 were realistic enough for 2013. They would take pictures of your car, run away if you started killing everyone, or even call the cops. We could introduce the dialogue system from Red Dead Redemption 2 here, and allow characters to talk with civilians, maybe adding cool options like bribing them to commit a crime, or maybe they could give you tips about the world and interesting things to do. Speaking of which, these dialogue options could be implemented into the story and side missions. We don't need 10 different options here, but rather simple ones that will make everyone's story unique and promote replayability. Gunplay is so important in GTA, and for ages Rockstar has been utilising a cover system and heavy aim assist. It's okay, but the real problem here is first person, where using a gun is extremely tedious and annoying. It's easy to say this, but I want first person GTA to feel like any other first person game. Right now the option is a hindrance and kind of feels like a gimmick. If shooting in first person felt more like, dare I say it, Call of Duty, mowing down enemies would be so much more satisfying than it is in 5. This brings me on to fighting in GTA 5, which involves spamming a button until you inevitably win. Can we please get more options here and increase the ability of the random people we decide to beat up? This also brings me on to controls, which, let's face it, have always felt a little bit awkward. The main problem is that you use your thumb to run because you spam the A button, but you also use the same thumb to control the camera, so you're always much slower at reacting to things. Also, the idea of spamming a button to sprint is kind of absurd, and the layout could really do with some work. And don't get me started on sprinting in first person. Thankfully, driving is a lot more fun, though not perfect. The handling model is this awkward mix of simulation and arcade that never feels as grounded or fluid as, say, Forza or Project Cars 3. I think it'd be worth going down the Need for Speed road of handling style, which is more arcade but definitely fits the street racing tone.
Man, what the fuck you doing here?
Here with the boys.
What?
I'm fucking new in town, I'm making friends, alright? Now let's party.
Look, I had plans on getting some rest until this clown and my aunt came and fucked that up.
My nigga, I just came over here to holler at you about the little thing.
Man, I said I'm tired, dawg.
What fucking thing? I love things. I'm the king of things.
I ain't talking to you, homie.
Hey, let's go do something about the thing, okay?
What thing?
I'm talking about the little stretch thing, man.
Fucking beautiful. Perfect. It's a gangbang. Let's go. Come on.
Who is this for, man? What is man, just come on.
Activities are massively important for GTA. You're a criminal, and you have so many options presented to you to engage with the world in a ton of different ways. I'm going to start by addressing every activity in GTA 5 before moving on to new activities that could be introduced. The ammunition shop is brilliant, and honestly we just need more of the same. More guns, attachments, camos and equipment. The barbers will be transformed with the introduction of the hair mechanic from Red Dead 2, whereby we can't just add hair to our character, they will need to grow it to that length.
Oh, nigga, don't hate me because I'm beautiful, nigga. Maybe you got rid of that old yee-yee ass haircut you got, you get some bitches on your dick. Oh, better yet, maybe Tanisha will call your dog ass if she ever stop fucking with that brain surgeon, the lawyer she fucking with, nigga.
Clothing shops in GTA are good, but the layout is quite annoying. I understand letting the player walk around like they're in a shop, but it's just too clunky and awkward to do so enjoyably. Maybe allow players to walk around but add a catalogue at the desk so players can search through that as well. Also, allow us to shop for clothes online and have them delivered to our house. The car wash is fine, I guess. Moving on. Darts is a lot of fun, but let me enter competitive darts tournaments and win prizes. Actually, let me do that in any competitive activity. Golf is surprisingly enjoyable, but there is only one course. We'll need more than one in GTA 6, but also the ability to make our own golf courses using the creator.
Fuck this game.
The Los Santos Customs is one of the biggest activities, and we really just need more of the same, and new options such as tuning and a livery editor. The movie theatre is kind of pointless, but I have an idea. Why not let players watch the most popular GTA clips in the movie theatre? Obviously it's not a movie, but I think it would actually incentivize people to go to the theatre. Parachute jumping? Great. Just let me do it competitively for rewards. We need more options in the tattoo parlor. Maybe even let us draw our own tattoo and then the artist will attempt to replicate it. Yoga is in GTA 5 and I'm not sure if anyone would be disappointed if it stayed there. Trevor has the ability to hunt deer in GTA 5 and whilst this is good, it can definitely be expanded upon. This will of course depend on the setting, but adding a wider variety of animals and activities related to them would really spice up that aspect of the game. Rockstar have already done this in Red Dead 2, so why not in GTA 6? GTA 5 has multiple random events or encounters, and 6 will need to do the same. The only problem these had was that during a second replay, you would experience the same random events exactly how you witnessed them before. Maybe the game could have a set number of random events, but the player only experiences half of them during a given playthrough. Businesses play a role in obtaining cash in GTA 5 both offline and online, and I think this needs more emphasis in 6. Whether or not this is a focus for main missions is up to Rockstar, but I certainly think they should be heavily incorporated into side missions. It could be simple stuff like assassinating the head of a rival drug gang, or doing favors for your boss so you get more respect within your gang. You get the idea here, there is so much potential for creativity.
Now, we've looked very, very carefully at the plans. We considered something more complicated, but given the location, the weakness of staffing, and the exit points, we believe that a more simple plan will work best.
Heists are also a standout of GTA 5. Honestly, they're done quite well, and it's really a case here of more heists, and specifically allow us to heist outside of the main story, perhaps after we've reached a certain status. We should also be able to steal from any business or person that we can interact with. Finally, we have races. Whether it be street, mountain bike or sea, these need more attention and detail. We've seen how popular the races are in GTA Online, so there is a lot of room for improvement in single player. Perhaps completing races would unlock customization parts for cars or access to new cars entirely. Your phone, and more specifically the internet, is a widely used feature of GTA 5. Now, assuming 6 has a modern setting, we can improve on the phone, adding more websites, contacts, and maybe a dark web where the player could pay for assassinations, drugs, you name it. With that all out of the way, let's talk about the activities we would love to see in GTA 6.
No, I'm not calling nobody a nigga.
Wait, what the fuck?
I mean, N-word. That's not cool, man. I don't say that.
You fucking right, and you better keep it right, because this man right here, He's an international businessman, a multiculturalist.
That I could not have said better myself. But seriously, maybe he's not a racist. But I don't think that he is man enough for a car like this.
Wait a second.
This guy right here, him, get him a hybrid. That's a real man's car.
I think you are right, Lamar. You get a tax rebate. I understand. Money is an issue, eh?
Money isn't an issue.
This is the best part. Watch this when he reel him in. He gonna get all his full money. Watch this.
Look, man, I gotta go. Hey, Simeon, I'm out. I'll holler at you, homie.
It's the best part, man.
I mentioned businesses, but 5 really only scratches the surface of what is possible. Allow the player to buy any business available, and like 5, be handed with side missions related to their companies. GTA 5 Online actually covers houses and garages surprisingly well, and it begs the question, why this isn't included in single player. I understand some of the characters have their set houses, but there is no harm in giving players the option to own multiple houses or garages, perhaps renting them to earn a long-term income. GTA 5 had multiple playable characters, and whilst it's unsure how many 6 will have, one thing is certain: we need more player-related customization and personality. Let us build our character or characters how we want, through actions and decisions. For example, maybe you have the choice between killing someone or letting them go. This choice will lead you to obtaining either a wrathful or compassionate personality. Both would positively or negatively affect future interactions. Maybe because you're wrathful, you can intimidate people easier. Or maybe because you're compassionate, people will be more generous towards you, perhaps leading to business opportunities. The options here are endless, and that is why it would encourage replayability to a point where you never quite feel like you've experienced the full game. Red Dead 2 did this to a degree, whereby Arthur would frequently be given good versus bad choices, eventually impacting the story. After you've cried over the ending, your next thought is, I wonder what it would have been like if I did this or said that. Before you know it, you're playing through it again. Speaking of player decisions, allow us to engage in relationships, whether it be intimate or building a friendship with someone only to murder them for their property. Effectively, it would be tremendous fun to have the ability to scheme with or against other people for various reasons. Music is crucial in setting the tone of any game, and GTA is no different. Whilst they produce an excellent score, they also have multiple radio stations for players to choose from. These are amazing, though I have 2 requests to make, though I understand if they're a little overambitious. 1. Allow us to stream music from, say, Spotify into the in-game radio, and 2. Add a real-life radio station which is dedicated to supporting GTA 6. My only gripe with the current radio stations, which is completely understandable, is that you end up hearing the same songs, one-liners and advertisements over and over again. Look, it's better than anything else I've experienced, but the addition of a real-life radio station would be so much fun to listen to. You always know you're going to hear something new and fresh. We've mentioned various sports such as tennis, darts and golf before, but it begs the question, where is boxing, football, martial arts, chess, go-karting, basically anything you can think of? Sport would increase your stamina and strength, and even affect your personality and provide business opportunities. I talked about the phone and using the internet, but I actually think it would be more immersive if we could also buy cars and other vehicles at dealerships. Not only would this be more realistic, but you could also incorporate this into side missions. You could do some part-time work for a particular car dealership and get a discount on your next purchase, or access to a specific upgrade. Cars themselves will need their prices altered to their real-life counterparts. This is more related to online, but there's an issue when a classic Mini Cooper is the same price as your average supercar. Of course, the more variety of cars, the better, and this includes all forms of vehicles. Whilst I'm here, I may as well mention that any vehicles that get added to multiplayer should also be added to single player. One aspect of GTA we always seem to forget are the cheats. They're pretty good in 5, but of course, let's make them better in 6. Honestly, I'm going to leave this one up to you guys. What sort of wacky shit would you like to get up to in a GTA game, but can't because of the gameplay limitations? I'd love to mess around with invisibility. GTA 5, Red Dead 2, and basically any other Rockstar game had many secrets, Easter eggs, and references for players to discover. Obviously we need more of the same, but I find the most enjoyable ones are the murder mysteries. So enjoyable that I think they should be their own side missions. Depending on your character, you could set up a private investigator business and track down some of the city's most wanted criminals. GTA Online is where the majority of players spend the majority of their time. It has been a gigantic success for Rockstar, echoed by its player count, which is still incredibly high to this day. It doesn't come without faults though, and online is definitely an area that we can improve upon. Let's start with the concept of online, which is to amass as many assets and as much wealth as you can think of. Nightclubs, casinos, laundering illegal substances, you name it, you can buy it, run it, and splash the cash on a flying motorbike or a gravity gun. So here's the thing, how grounded do we want the GTA 6 online experience to be? How much is too much? Let's take a look at my garage. Not too shabby. However, this is pretty much all I own. In online terms, I'm about working class. You drive around online and see all these people with jets, tanks, helicopters, laser guns, spawn killing you again and again and again, and you just have to take a step back and ask, damn, is this what GTA Online is about? I'll leave that up to you guys, as I think it's more of a subjective argument than my other points, which I'll get onto now. Firstly, the idea of jobs is fantastic. Hopping into random lobbies, completing races, heists, etc. Except the UI is terrible. Coupled with the long loading screens, it makes organising or finding anything in GTA a hassle. As well, it doesn't help when every NPC in the game is constantly calling you, like they're in a fatal scenario. Like, just go away, I don't want to set up a business. Dare I say it again, but a more Call of Duty-like experience is needed. Their lobby system works just fine. Nowhere is this better highlighted than when you decide to enter a solo session when online. Except to do this, you must first go back into single player, and only then can you enter a solo session. I want to quickly discuss shark cards and microtransactions because, well, they shouldn't be there. I mean, it's wishful thinking that they'll get removed for GTA 6, but it's kind of ironic that GTA partakes in such satirical comedy, but also are content in charging you real life money for in-game money. It's not a massive concern because we're all happy to buy the game anyway because it's so amazing, but I don't think it's something that's needed, especially when you sell as many copies as you do. When you do get into a job, whether it be with or without friends, it's generally lots of fun. Most are made by Rockstar, but with the creator, many have been forged by the community. And I think this is an aspect of online that could really be expanded upon in our sequel. Don't get me wrong, the creator is brilliant, but imagine having the ability to place AI, scripting, coordinate placement, an asset creator, or maybe even a terrain editor. Not to mention the typical improvements such as more assets, color schemes, settings, etc. The levels that people have crafted so far are sensational. But just think of what could be done with just some of the aforementioned tools. Pair that with a simple to use server browser and a method of searching levels using filters, and you wouldn't want to play any other online game for the foreseeable future. GTA 6 is the most anticipated game in history. It's a dangerous statement because inevitably, some aspects of it will disappoint. Maybe you wanted it to be set in London, or you want to perform yoga every day but it got removed. The reality, however, is that we're probably going to get another 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I mean, this is Rockstar we're talking about. We're so grateful to have such a top-notch series like Grand Theft Auto that it puts videos like this into perspective. They could do half of the things I mentioned, and I think we'd all be over the moon. It's hard when you're on top to push yourself to innovate and improve, And even though you've just spent 20 plus minutes listening to my ideas, Rockstar know what they're doing, and that gives me and everyone else a lot of comfort. Having said all this, they seriously need to add a do not disturb option to the phone. Like, I'm here trying to spam A to run, but then you use A to accept a call. You can't decline until you've accepted it, and now I'm listening to Lester telling me not to hang up, and he's trying to get me to create a business I'm not interested in. And Jesus Christ, Rockstar, please fix the phone. If GTA 6 is just GTA 5 with a new and improved phone, I will buy it, because honestly the rest of this video didn't matter. That's all I really wanted to say.